Yo, what is up, everybody? Today, welcome back to another combat sports related video here today. And today, as we all know, we are currently about a week away from the highly anticipated middleweight title bout between the current champion Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori, which is happening for the second time. So this is a rematch, and as we all know, the first match was quite close, with Adesanya slightly outstriking Vettori, and Vettori getting in about 2 takedowns against Adesanya. It's safe to assume both men have improved. Adesanya is coming off a loss against the current light heavyweight champion, Jan Blachowicz, and Vettori is coming off a win against the highly talented prospect, Kevin Holland. So this promo that we're going to be reacting to is called UFC 263 Adesanya vs. Vettori 2. Come Get It trailer by the great Axiom Combat. He does a very good job on these kind of videos. He has a promo channel, so check him out. But I'm excited what he has to offer today. But before we begin, any of those really appreciate it. Hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, stay with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy, and this is your first time messing with the kid, hit that sub button, man, because once you do, you become part of the family forever. Let's not waste any more time. Screen. Let's get hyped, folks.
The fight with Marvin Vettori was a learning experience, definitely.
Definitely a tough fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's equal. This is a real test for Adesanya. It's not as easy as he thought it was going to be.
So for the first time in Israel Adesanya's 13-fight pro mixed martial arts career, he will need to rely on the judges to get his hand raised tonight.
I think, in fairness, Israel wasn't that impressed himself.
Clearly a tough fight, clearly.
So here's Marvin Vettori. As many of you know, the only man to beat him since 2016 was Israel Adesanya via split decision.
And that was a long time ago. These two guys have progressed so much since then.
You know, you got to imagine you want that rematch.
You were so close, we have to redo it. I know the biggest goal for you is that rematch with Adesanya, but you probably have to get a couple wins to get there.
All I want is to get the title, so I need to keep going.
He wins fights against Cesar Ferreira in 2019, Andrew Sanchez in 2019. He stopped Carl Roberson in 2020.
Main event, Kevin Holland out Marvin Vettori in.
You rocketed up the rankings.
Yeah, he's an impressive middleweight.
4 straight win.
It's been great to see his journey. This is what 2020 has been about, right? Step up in these opportunities.
He beat the Joker, Hermanson. Very impressive. Hermanson is a monster.
Collarbone, in steps the promotional workhorse Holland.
You had 11 takedowns, which is now the middleweight record for takedowns.
Keep breaking records.
You have long called for a rematch. Do you think this was enough to get you in that title picture?
Yes. There's no denying that you are now in all of those conversations that you have wanted to be in for years.
I want to design you next.
I think that kid's ready for anything.
Some nights you get there and it's not all there.
Israel obviously comes up short in his bid to become a champ.
You can never hurt somebody for...
Tough fight for Israel, man. Jan Blachowicz is a strong, big man. Was quite skilled himself. So, very, very tough matchup for him.
This is the dip in my story.
He's got a lot of things left to do.
And then I'll rise up again. Like the phoenix that I am.
Israel Adesanya, who has captivated the MMA masses every step of the way, has left Anderson Silva, Kelvin Gastelum, Robert Whitaker, Yoel Romero, and Paulo Costa in his wake.
Yeah. Monster.
Trying to close it out. Israel Adesanya.
Like I said, I was in the nosebleeds, and now I'm in his nosebleed.
Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero go the 25-minute distance.
What are your thoughts going forward? You're still obviously the middleweight champion.
Right now, I got a division I got to dominate.
Vettori has fought Israel Adesanya, probably the best out of everybody.
In their initial fight, Vettori still put in a pretty decent performance.
Definitely did.
I want my shot.
All right.
Finally, some breaking news.
Marvin Vettori will take on Israel Adesanya next.
It's Marvin Vettori.
I can do it again. Let's see if this guy can do it.
I won this title, man.
Trust me, this will be no different.
He thinks he has it all figured out. He got nothing figured out.
Yeah, I want to break him.
Middleweights. I had to make y'all remember. I'm the champion.
I wanted to come in here, make a statement. You're now challenging for the middleweight championship. Marvin Vettori.
It's for every Italian that believes in me. For all the Italians that are struggling.
This is going to be good, folks. That's for sure. I have a feeling it's going to be a good one.
I'll remind them again why I'm the king at 185.
You are looking at the undisputed greatest middleweight in the world at present.
You know, the sun will rise again the next day, and so did I.
If anybody out there is going through something,
Another title defense.
King, God, something good will happen.
I was never in to become number 5 in the world. I will become the first Italian UFC champion.
I'm the one with the gold. If you want it, come get it.
This is going to be good, man. This is going to be really good. Can't wait for this one. All right, guys. June 12th. It's almost here. Great. Once again, great work by Axiom Combat. He always does a splendid job with these. Now, to give my prediction here. All right. So let's go off of what we've seen lately from both opponents here. Now, Israel Adesanya, right, is one of the most intricate strikers we've ever seen. Probably the best striker I've ever seen within the UFC all around, right? His kicks are phenomenal. He has one of the best question mark kicks I've ever seen. You know, he just has it figured out. And Vettori is a grinder. We saw it in full display against Kevin Holland. Full display. He grinded Kevin out. And Kevin, he can bang. You know, he can really scrap and had nothing for Vettori. Vettori just put it on him. So he has the ability to really put it on a man, right? Now, Israel Adesanya in his last loss, you know, I still believe was the more intricate of a striker of the two. And I'm talking about him and Jan. Jan was just the bigger man, the stronger man. Took advantage of that, you know, and had the power advantage. So Israel wasn't able to impose his will as thoroughly, having the bigger man on him, you know. But in this one here, this is interesting, all right, because it's clear both guys have improved. It's interesting to see how Vettori is going to approach this one. Will he try to take down Israel? Will he try to grind Israel out? Now, Israel in his career has around an 80% takedown defense, right? That's pretty decent. It's probably a little higher if you take away the takedowns from Jan at light heavyweight. I think that's an outlier match because he was fighting such a bigger man, but it's probably around 85%. Do I think he can defend Vettori's takedowns? I think so. I mean, Derek Brunson is a pretty good wrestler himself, and he defended those pretty well. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But then again, Vettori has improved. I think it's still safe to say Adesanya is the better striker of the two. I don't think Vettori's going to want to stand and try to beat Israel in a long distance match, right? Trying to beat him, like outbox him or outstrike him. It's not going to happen. It's highly unlikely. That's not his cup of tea. His cup of tea is grinding you out, pressuring you, and just breaking you like he did Kevin Holland, which was a record-breaking performance, obviously, as we heard, 11 takedowns. Now, this matchup, I think, is going to be interesting. Now, here's one question we won't be able to answer till the day of. How will Israel respond to adversity, right? This was his first loss within the UFC. Now, granted, he has lost very badly in the past in kickboxing. He has a 75-5 record in kickboxing. He's been knocked out dead cold by Alex Pereira. So he's tasted brutal defeat. Brutal. So I think that puts more hope in my heart and gives me assurance that he will overcome this adversity. You know, he was not dominated, I believe, by Jan. He was beaten by Jan. Clearly, it wasn't close, but he was in no way destroyed. He wasn't completely obliterated by Jan. You know, he held his own. And I think we will continue to see what Adesanya will become. I think he will win this fight. I think it's going to be tough. I think he's going to have a hell of a fight on his hands. I think Vettori's going to bring all he's got, try to take Israel down, get Israel tired, get his arms tired, just get him tired and make him less effective in his striking ability, right? But I think Adesanya will do what he does. Use his range, use his amazing timing, distance control, and superior striking to bring Vettori down. But I had to put a prediction on this. I say Adesanya wins one by either late stoppage, I'm going to say like 4th, 5th round TKO, or wins by decision. It's going to be tough, though. And do I think it's impossible for Vettori to win? I don't think it's impossible. I think it is possible. Not probable, but possible. So I think Adesanya wins this one. It's going to be very interesting, though. There's a lot of questions we can't answer. How will he be mentally the day of? How bad did this yawn loss affect him? In my opinion, it didn't seem to affect him that bad. Obviously, every loss hurts, but I think he's been there. I think he takes care of his mind and his body very well. I think he's very in tune with himself. So I think he'll be just fine. I really do think he'll be just fine. Now Vettori has some momentum on his side. He has a 5-fight win streak. That is his advantage. Is he's coming off a win, a big win. Probably one of the biggest wins of his career, beating a highly talented prospect in Kevin Holland. But we're gonna find out what happens. I think Adesanya gets it done. I think he continues his run within the middleweight division. Then again, guys, I say this. I'm gonna try to say this every promo and every combat sports related video. Look at other, people that analyze these fights and give their predictions. By no means, take my word as absolute or, the expert take. I'm no expert. I've had a long time within the combat sports community, but I am not Luke Thomas or, Joe Rogan, anyone like that. So please feel free to go see others and see what they have to say about this. Maybe they have a different opinion. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, shout out to Action Combat. Great promo by the guy. He does a great job with these. I love you all. Leave any recommendations in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is Jay the Great signing out. Peace.